So now that I've taken my poofies out, and again, I'm all squeaky clean. I shall start from the beginning. Now these are things that I got a few times at the wheel, and what you've seen at the Big E, which which is now being uploaded now, but should be up for a while by the time you see this vid. So, so I'll try that. And usually people go to the Big E and buy like big fancy things and the artist stuff and things like that. What do I get? Stuff out of the Dollar Tent. So, but it's cool stuff. So, the first thing I noticed was what I believe is an ashtray, because it's got like those little divots there, dippy hole type things, which I think is where you sit your cigarette. Not being a smoker, what the hell do I know? This will be a junk drawer, or a receptacle for trash type stuff, which I have like a bigger porcelain version that I use for like when I do crafts for like the little things. If your trash basket is just that much out of reach, it's nice to have it right there. This will be like my portable version, so I can bring this with me when I go over to craft day and stuff. And I liked this one because, of course, the skull motif was awesome. And it's a card theme. So you got the skull on the Ace of Spades there, or a spade, the skull of spades. And then you have the four, I don't know, I want to call them denominations, but the four symbols of the modern card deck with the skull on them. So, since I play Rummy quite often, this was just so perfect for me. So, yay! And I just now looked at the bottom, and it was originally $5.99. So I paid a whole $1, and she didn't charge me tax, so it didn't come to like $5 and $12. No, I lied. $2 and $12, because it's like 6.25 cents or something for Massachusetts tax. Oh, now here's my question: what's the tax in your state? I know it's 6, I think, in Connecticut, or is it still 5? I don't know. All this time, it used to be more expensive to shop in Connecticut. Now it's more expensive to shop in Massachusetts. So I'm just curious what the most expensive state tax is. I'm thinking it's probably like California or New York or something. I don't know. But these were $1 even. And the next one I found was so cool. I can have an extra hand. Now, my only concern will be it's most likely made out of nickel, which totally rots because I'm allergic to nickel. And it rots because there's so much cool, cheap jewelry that I just can't wear, or at least it depends on the ratio of what nickel there is in the thing. Some cheap jewelry I can wear with hardly a problem. Some things I just look at it and start itching. It's like, I mean, make the stuff out of steel. I don't even think it has to be stainless steel. I don't know. Just, that doesn't bother me. In the way you can find out if you're allergic to nickel, you literally tape a nickel, the actual coin in nickel, the 5-cent piece, to your flesh. And if you start itching, you are allergic to nickel. That's why some of the cheaper rings, it's like trying to scratch an itch from the inside of your flesh. Not fun. So, that's why I'm like, So, we'll see. But this is a little too big, so I will have to take a hand off, and I'll probably change the connection here because it's a toggle, and I'm not too fond of those. So I'll probably change it to a lobster clasp. So I have a little adapting on this, which is why that's why I ended up with the 3 skulls on my other necklace, because I had to make that smaller. Like I said, I have freakishly tiny little phalanges and appendages and stuff. So, that was my biggie haul. Now, to the classic Goodwill stuff. Now, I had just finished uploading my Loudon race video, now that I finally had time to edit it. And I'd gotten a backpack, which is in my townwide tag sale haul, because if there's an empty space, I want to fill it. So, that's why I was looking for am trying to find the right size backpack. One, being small myself, and two, not wanting to have to cart, an entire caravan's worth of stuff to the race. I mean, there's some basic stuff you need, like my, 5-hour energy or some snacks and a couple of things of water and batteries and cameras. You'd be surprised how heavy a tiny camera is, especially when you add them all together. So at least you have like a minimum amount of room, but the bigger the backpack, the more you want to put in it. So I found that, and that's what I actually did eventually end up bringing, except there were no extra pockets, which I kind of would have liked. So I ended up, I guess I did use that, didn't I? Yes, of course. So I had to use what you will see in this haul shortly to kind of add the extra stuff, which is kind of hard because you got to hunt for it. So, before the race, I'm like, well, maybe I can find something a little bit smaller. So I found this, and this is for $1. And yes, it is ugly as hell, but it does sort of have that bubblegum theme to it, right? It goes, "Don't burst my bubble. Original Bobby Jack bubble gum. Super sweet and delicious." I have never heard of Bubble Jack gum in my life. But I thought it was like the perfect little size backpack. And it is tall enough that it fit the, at least a couple of bottled waters, which was good. But these were a little too small. It was a little too small, but I might be able to get it to work. It's just trying not to bring so much stuff. Or bringing stuff you don't need. That's the big trick. But I like the little extra pockets. This one's kind of annoying because it's so close to the bottom pocket here. It's kind of awkward to zip. And I like the little side pockets, but it's not big enough for the water to go on the side. So, but you can still stick, random stuff in there. So, I didn't end up actually using this one, but I'm glad I got it anyways, because, eventually I might end up using it for something somewhere. Too bad it's just, so visually ugly. So, I'm more practical. What the heck? It'd be nice if I could find a gothy version of this, but nope. So, I got that. I did end up actually using this thing, since I actually have a little cooler. It's not the hard kind of coolers, it's more of a, kind of a, hard to explain, but it's a square cooler like a lunchbox, but it's made out of a squishy material, which is good to put the water in, and it fit perfectly in that backpack. So I wanted a smaller, like, lunch bag version of it. And I actually found it the same day. And again, this is $1, and this is just sort of an El Cheapo recycle-y type thingy. Fairly decent size. And it comes from Earthwise Bag Company. And I'm pretty sure, what the hell is it called? Polypropylene is like recycled soda bottles, because it's the material of the bags that are kind of made out of that stuff, the grocery bags, and genuine aluminum, or aluminum in the States. So, in the middle, and, I didn't use it to actually keep anything cool. This is the bag I put the random stuff because there was no extra pocket in the other one. So, it came in handy, so I'm glad I got this, because I was looking for that. And they want, like, during the back-to-school stuff, this type of bag, they want like $6, $7 for. So now I got what I wanted for cheap. So, which reminds me, I should probably stick that back with bag. So that was my stuff I sort of used. I didn't use original plan stuff. But I'm glad I got it anyway. So while I was on the hunt for that, I stumbled across the fact that I'm chewing on hairballs. I came across this, and I wish they'd kind of like organize the books. They kind of sort of do by like type and stuff, but it's still kind of hard to find anything if you're looking for something specific. But this was like right there in eye shot, or eye level for me anyway. And I like this type of stuff. And this is Presidents of the United States. Inaugurations, Call to Actions, and Farewells. The Presidents Speak to the Nation. And it's a book like this, where it's got sound clips built in. I guess you would consider it. It was over 50 audio clips from defining moments in history. From George Washington to Barack Obama, Presidents of the United States introduces the 43 men who have led our country through illustrations, photographs, and their own words. From inaugural addresses to farewell speeches, State of the Union addresses, and declarations of war, this collection allows you to revisit memorable moments and speeches that have shaped our policy, our national character, and our history. And there's actually 25 minutes of audio on here, which is kind of cool. And this is from some company called Pill from Illinois. So I've never heard of that company before in my life. And I paid $3.50 for this. And just as a book in and of itself, it's really cool. So, and it includes every single president, too. It doesn't just glean over, like, your favorite presidents, like everybody knows Lincoln and Grant and Washington and Jefferson. I mean, you've got people like Taft and Coolidge and John Tyler and Millard Fillmore, you know, people that you might not just come across in everyday life. So, we'll do it with old Abe here. And they're good pictures, too. And I kind of looked at it like, well, I kind of would like it to work. And it goes, and I like the fact that you can replace the battery. You could at least get into the battery pack. And it's DC 1.5 volt, which I thought was like a watch battery. So I'm like, well, at least it's not impossible to find. But then I looked on the back, and it goes, includes 3 replaceable AAA batteries. And I'm like, yes! So, fortunately, I had those on hand. So, who are you? You're Grover Cleveland. So I replaced the batteries, and let's crank this baby up. So what you do this.
Press a 3-digit code found in the book, then press the enter button. We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
And it's the same guy doing the original, you know, pre-audio recording voices, or at least the things that don't have an actual recording of them. So, I like that. That's really neat. And it's up until, I think, is it Truman? I don't know if Teddy Roosevelt's the original voice or not. But some of them I would have liked to actually heard the voices, because they were in that era where they did have recording at that point. But only the later ones have the actual people, the presidents themselves speaking. I don't think Coolidge is one of them. Or Hoover. I did all of them up until Kennedy, and then I haven't got a chance to finish it yet. So, and it's a really neat, you know, a neat book as far as even the information they give you, and lots of pictures, and really kind of, you know, it's a really decent book, just in and of itself. And the fact that you have, like, audio clips just made it that much more awesome. So, this was probably a fairly expensive book originally, but it probably had, like, a whatever store it came out of sticker on the back, which they have pulled off. So I don't know what it was originally, but it is mine, and I am happy. So hopefully I'll have time to finish playing with it. I love it when books can be considered toys as well. And it does kind of make the old presidents that you see on the bills kind of, you realize, yes, they were actual people, you know, not like fairy tales. But I don't know how many younger people are, like, interested in that, but I don't know. I thought that was cool. So, the next thing is a lot more boring than that book. And I was kind of looking for something to use sort of on the floor, but I ended up using it in its actual, yeah, what it was made for. So, tiny fingers. So, I was on the hunt for one of these. Dun, da, da, da. And I don't know why you put a tassel on a pillow. I don't know. So I needed new pillows, or a pillow. Something to give me a little more oomph. I don't know. So I bear this under other pillows. And I thought it was pretty anyways, but it didn't really matter what it looked like. And I think it was from a home that had either animals, like a dog or a cat, because Kefren's like, this smells like somebody has been here before. So, that's alright. I don't care. And you can see it's had quite a life, because it's kind of all frayed and all that, but I don't care. I don't know quite what to do with the tassels. They're like Cousin It tassels, aren't they? That's why I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the hell does this remind me of? It's Cousin It. At least, aha, that's why. Okay, this one looks like Cousin It because it doesn't have the little hold-em thingy like this one does. Mr. and Mrs. It. There we go. That explains it. I'm actually surprised it's still in one piece. And this I got for $2. And once you know, as I'm looking, there's always people in your way shopping anyway. And I've mentioned how much I love that in other videos. And what I really like is the people as you're looking at you while you're shopping, like, you better not pick the one thing I want. It's like, or the people that are looking at what you're looking at because you're looking at it. Anybody else has come across these people? Kind of creepy. But I claimed this one. So, really firm, serves its purpose. Very soft and purdy. But this is kind of annoying because, you know, velour's nice, but, you know, if you're in a house with fur balls, you end up with a giant tribble after a while. So, it serves its purpose. And I liked it. So, that was my super duper exciting having to do this more than once video. Thank you for watching. Do comment, rate, and subscribe. There's always room for one more at the strange and exotic. And I shall see you all next time.